Today's lecture is Survival Method in the Coronavirus Recession. Master Okawa, the founder of Happy Science, gave a lecture with this title, Survival Methods in the Coronavirus Recession, in the end of April. And because of a prolonged lockdown, many people are suffering from loss of income or decreasing income, or even bankruptcy of the company, joblessness, and even it is prospected that many people will commit suicide because of this economic depression caused by coronavirus infection. And we Happy Science conduct many spiritual readings regarding coronavirus. And one example of the spiritual reading is this book, a spiritual reading of novel coronavirus originated in China. And this is a spiritual messages from a space person who is protecting Happy Science and Master Okawa. So if you are interested, please buy this book and read it and know the truth about coronavirus. Anyway, we Happy Science conducted many spiritual readings, and according to that spiritual reading, it is said that this infection of coronavirus will last at least 2 years. Or some spiritual beings pointed out it will prolong more than 2 years. So we need to accept the fact that we need to live or coexist with coronavirus. And at the same time, we need to restart economic activities. Since March, governments around the world took the measure of lockdown or stopping economical activities. But if we keep on this measure for a prolonged period, this countermeasure against coronavirus will destroy the economy. And many people will suffer from joblessness, decreasing income, or even suicide, bankruptcy. So Happy Science warns that this is the time to restart any economic activities so that we can sustain the economies of the countries or the world. If we do not restart economic activities at this point, maybe we will suffer a Great Depression like 1929 before the World War II. But there is a very interesting fact. Master Okawa issued this kind of warning many times since April. And after that, many governments of the world are doing so, trying to restart the economical activities. For example, the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister Johnson is expected to announce the losing measure of lockdown tonight, this evening. And President Trump of the United States also want to restart the economical activities of United States because he do not want to destroy the economy of the US. So it is very strange that after the warning from Happy Science or Master Okawa, many leaders of the government are following this warning. It is very strange. I'm not sure if the intelligence agencies of each countries are following our Japanese information. I'm not sure about it, but this is very strange fact. Okay, so let's start today's seminar. First, I will introduce a quote from Spiritual Messages from Mr. Konosuke Matsushita. He is the founder CEO of Panasonic Group. According to his spiritual messages, he said, I think people are occupied by reducing the number of the deaths and infections at the moment, but I think that what comes after this, at least for human beings who are now alive, will be in the unexpected zone. We have some experience of economic recession, but in terms of scale, I think there is a high possibility that it will be at the level of the Great Depression of 1929 or Japan's defeat in World War II. Basic economic infrastructures are artificially and thoroughly being destroyed. So if this situation is prolonged, they cannot be restored. So the spirit of Mr. Konosuke Matsushita, founder of Panasonic Group, issued a warning against stopping economical activities out of fear against coronavirus. Yes, it is true that we need to keep on fighting against coronavirus, but on the other hand, we also need to keep our economical activities so that we can prevent the destruction of the economy of the country. If we keep on this lockdown measure as it is, maybe many people will suffer from economical troubles, and even many people will commit suicide. This is a problem. This is a quote from Master Okawa's lecture, Survival Methods in the Coronavirus Recession. At the beginning of the lecture, he said, I'd like to see good people survive. I want people who live with right mind, with Buddha's teachings, and people who are trying to live for the world to survive. Yes. The wishes of Master Okawa, or Happy Science, is that all the good people who lives with right mind and who's studying the spiritual truth can survive in this corona pandemic or in this expected Great Depression after corona pandemic. So this is a basic point for this lecture by Master Okawa. Okay. And the first point, how we can survive in this coronavirus pandemic or coronavirus infection is to keep or stay positive in our mind. So Master Okawa said, there's information that necessary to think necessary. So I think it's a good idea to just simply see a section of the news or just look at the overview. But you better not see too much or read all the details. Of course, it is very important to catch up with the news footage, news broadcasting on TV, internet, or newspaper. But the news broadcasting, news footage is full of negative information, which will make our mood very dark. So Master Okawa suggested us not to watch TV or not to watch TV news or newspaper news too much so that we can stay positive. And this is the first point. And the second point is you should follow the basics of Buddhism: birth, aging, illness, and death. After a person is born, they get old, become sick, and die. No one can escape from that. I think it is better to concentrate on how you spend your remaining life that was given to you. It is natural that people get sick and die. In this situation, instead of living with fear and self-protection, I think it is important to focus on how to live meaningfully in this limited life, wishing to realize the happiness of others. So in this time of coronavirus pandemic, it is very important to going back to the basics of Buddhism. Shakyamuni Buddha in India, 2,500 years ago, found the truth that life is full of suffering. Life is full of suffering. And most basic sufferings from life is four pains of birth, aging, illness, and death. So Shakyamuni Buddha pointed out that these four pains are the cause of our suffering in this life. So this is a basic point of Buddhism. So if we accept this fact that this life is full of suffering of birth, aging, illness, and death, then we can accept the fact that we need to leave this world, this third dimensional world. We need to die in the near future, in the future. And if we need to die in the future at some date, what we have to do or what we have to think about is how we live this life. This is the starting point of Buddhism for eradicating suffering or for removing suffering. Buddha taught us to leave our attachment. That means physical attachments to something on earth, like our possession, property, or status, our family, and so on, human relationships, and so on. So we need to leave our attachments and live our life wishing for the happiness of people around the world and wishing for the people of this society or people in this country. So this is the starting point of religious life. So of course, it is very important to take countermeasures against coronavirus, and starting from washing hands or goggle, or it is also okay to wear mask, face mask. But the basic point is the four pains of Buddhism: birth, aging, illness, and death. We are mortal beings. Human beings are mortal beings. So what we have to think about is how we live this life, and wishing for the people, wishing for the happiness of the people around us or the people in this country. This is a basic point for living in the age of coronavirus infection. This is the basic point. But the problem is that we don't have any vaccine against coronavirus. Of course, the researchers around the world are searching for the way to develop vaccine against coronavirus. But at this moment, we have no vaccine. So what we have to do is to increase our immunity or boost our immunity. The only thing we can do is to boost our immunity. So Master Okawa said, there is no other option but to increase immunity. To increase immunity, as for mindset, the power of will, cheerfulness, proactivity, and constructivity are important. And as for the body, to build one's muscle is important. They are the very important points for increasing or boosting our immune system, so that we can fight against coronavirus. And the most important point is to stay positive and stay cheerful and stay proactive against anything. And that's the reason why it is very dangerous to just watch news broadcasting all day long, because the news broadcasting is full of negative informations. So it is very important to read or watch something that is very positive. And the books of happy science are full of positive words, which will make our mind very positive and proactive. For example, this sutra, the true words spoken by Buddha, we recited before the ceremony. This sutra is also full of positive words, very positive words with spiritual enlightenment. So it is very good to recite this true words spoken by Buddha every day, or read books of happy science every day, so that we can stay positive. And in addition to that, the strongest weapon against infection is prayer, of course. And I recommend you to take prayer for defeating the infection of novel coronavirus originated in China. You can get a charm. You can put it at the entrance or at home, like, we are fine because we did purification. So the prayer is the strongest weapon against fighting, weapon for fighting against coronavirus infection. Even the President Trump of the United States encouraged people of the United States, now is the time to pray. And some other leaders of the countries also recommended people to pray, because at this moment, prayer is the only countermeasure against coronavirus infection. And at Happy Science, we conduct the prayer for defeating the infection of novel coronavirus originated in China every week. Or we can accept your prayer anytime upon request. And here in London, many members or non-members people overcame coronavirus infection by the power of this prayer for defeating the coronavirus, infection of coronavirus. For example, a female member here in London overcame a female member here in London was infected by coronavirus, and she got the symptom of pneumonia. But her brother, younger brother, who is a staff member of Happy Science, did a prayer for defeating the infection of novel coronavirus here at the London Temple. And after the prayer, his sister, who is a member of Happy Science, overcame coronavirus infection. And any other people also overcame coronavirus infection by the power of this prayer by Happy Science. And you may watch the video of testimony video of that female member who overcame coronavirus on the YouTube. So I will put the link to that video below this live streaming, so you can watch the testimony video of miracle of defeating coronavirus infection. Okay, and this is the conclusion of today's lecture. Boost your immunity, raise your faith, and do what you need to do. If you have a way of thinking of, even if my life ends or my mission ends while doing so, I don't mind. You won't be infected. Yes, this is one of my favorite mindset. I always keep this mindset in my mind. Even if my life ends or my mission ends while doing my missionary work, I don't mind. This is one of my favorite mindset. So if you take prayer and read spiritual books of Happy Science, but even so, there is a possibility that we will be infected by the virus, because the virus is also very strong at this moment. But if we have this mindset, even if my life ends or my mission ends while doing my mission, I don't mind. If we have this kind of mindset, we can stay positive and we can promote and go ahead with our mission. We can promote our mission day by day. So I have no regret, even if I will be dead because of the infection, because I am doing my best so that I can promote my mission here in London. I love this mindset. And this is a spiritual reading from Mr. Edgar Casey in the United States. What is most effective in repelling this coronavirus would be Ryuho Okawa's lectures, books, DVDs, CDs, movies, music, and anything that is being released through Happy Science. They are all effective. Yes. Spiritually seen, all the materials of Happy Science are full of heavenly light from ninth dimension. So spiritually seen, we can see that coronavirus are escaping from all the materials of Happy Science, like books, lectures, CD, DVDs, music, anything are effective for protecting us from coronavirus. Yes, and one example is the upcoming movie, The Real Exorcist, which we can watch from next weekend. And this is a spiritual movie based on our true experiences at Happy Science. So how we can exorcise evil spirits, how we can exorcise devil. This movie depicts these secrets, spiritual secrets, which cannot be revealed even in traditional religions or even in Christianity. So I believe you will enjoy the movie, enjoy this movie, and find the truth regarding exorcism. So from now, I'm happy to show you a music video from The Real Exorcist. And Master Oka gave us a comment that this song has the power to fight off the coronavirus, the locust swarm, and the spirits of poverty. So this song is composed by Master Okawa, and song is by his first daughter, Miss Sayaka Okawa. So I will show you a short music video.
Justice in this world. Fight, fight, fight. I am never abandoned my promise begun.
We will screen this movie next weekend. So please looking forward to watching that. Okay, this is the conclusion of today's lecture. It is essential for us to have the right faith, promote right missionary activities, and disinfect the world. So we don't have to fear about coronavirus, and we don't have to fear about the infection. What we have to do is to fulfill our mission on earth and wishing for the happiness of the people around us. Of course, we need to take some measures, basic measures for protecting ourselves from coronavirus infection. But the most important thing is our mindset of fulfilling our mission and promoting our activities for the happiness of the people around the world. Okay, this is the end of today's short lecture. Thank you very much.